Alright guys, we are back with another Raid Shadow Legends video. I hope everyone's having an amazing day. Today, we are live on the test server to showcase the new Shadowkin mythical champion that if we click her metamorph, she turns into a spider. Like, how cool is that in terms of aesthetics, right? And the only reason I'm making this video is because Genzin forced me to. He's like, yo, YST, how can he not make a new video on the latest Shadowkin? You're slacking. So, yeah. We got her on board and we're going to see her full potential today in the Clan Boss, in some dungeons, the Fire Knight. We'll take her into the faction wars as well and just speak about her fundamentals. As if you wasn't aware, she is going to be the permanent Mythical Fusion that should be going live very soon. Maybe by the time that you guys are seeing this video. But at this current moment, I have no idea of how hard she is going to be to obtain. So you guys can let me know in the comment section below once you see it, what your thoughts are in terms of requirements. But okay, let's go into base form first, speak about this one, as I feel like they're very good but in their own ways, and potentially locking off metamorphs in specific scenarios. So we got her in Guardian in the first place due to the fact that I'm implementing her into a Clan Boss team, but I may switch it up into Perception to make full use of her second variation. So with the A1, on the first form with the Shadow Lash, she attacks one enemy with a random ally from the Shadowkin faction. The ally joining the attack will use their default skill. Like, this is a crazy ability when you consider the Clan Boss, right? Because let's just say you've got a ninja in there and you manage to speed tune it, or a Torogi the Frog who doesn't have a 100% chance to place a decreased attack. She comes through, allows them to take some more attacks and deal some more damage over the course of the battle, whilst also placing a shield buff equal to 10% of this champion's max HP on the ally with the lowest HP for 2 turns. So some extra survivability there. And then as we lead into the A2, I've actually decided not to book any of this champion's skills today, especially for the Clan Boss segment. I might consider it later or just leave it without books for the entire video, as I know how hard it is to get these mythical tomes at this current moment, and I don't have any on my main account either, so seeing the full value without that is definitely worthwhile in my opinion. But it's also very useful because we've got a 3-turn cooldown that attacks all enemies and decreases the duration of all enemy buffs and ally debuffs by 1 turn. Now, this is really good, but the main component is increasing the duration of all enemy debuffs and all ally buffs by 1 turn. So we got ourselves a buff extender that can actually increase the duration of enemy debuffs as well, keeping up those poisons, those decreased attacks, those decreased defenses. Like, this is a very valuable skill on a 3-turn cooldown, which doesn't require the books, as it's just damage output and ignoring a specific amount of resistance. And you know, if you can reach the right stat thresholds, you'll be completely fine without it. One thing that I might consider booking down the line if I manage to get some books and I get some good RNG and it goes here will be the Imperial Decree, because 50% increased attack and a 30% increased crit damage buff on all allies for 2 turns, then teams up with all allies to attack a single enemy and all allies will use their default skill. Now, this is on a 5-turn cooldown, bookable down to a 4-turn, but we're going to use it without. And this is actually pretty rare in this game, having an all ally attack. Especially for like the Fire Knight to crack that shield in the normal or hard variation, or just dealing some nice damage over time. Like, if we think about champions such as Kreela the Witcher, who's one off the top of my head, she's got this increased attack, right, with the ally attack, but it's only a 3 champion one, so not everybody joins in here. And then we've also got champions such as Cardiel, if we just go into the Sacred Orders, just for some comparisons, right? But he has an increased crit rate, increased crit damage, phenomenal, but he's a Void Legendary champion, right? In terms of increased attack as well, we got Dark Elves, Lanicus, who has to kind of grant this extra turn, but she does place the increased attack. And then if you get that chance, you lead into this A2 and teams up with 3 allies again. And then, of course, champions such as Farrakhan the Fat, but I don't believe he has an increased attack. So increased crit rate, increased crit damage, and then all allies except himself. So overall, so far, pretty solid kit for this base form. And then last but not least, with the passive, at the start of this champion's turn, we'll remove all debuffs from the ally with the highest attack. So let's just say in your block damage or unkillable style compositions, you got your highest attack champion in that lead position and they're taking that stun for you. If she goes straight after that stun or just before that target, she'll be able to cleanse that off and keep you affinity friendly as well, so you can get some more attacks out. So don't underlook this passive here. I think it's very valuable if you can optimize it to your advantage. So as we switch over into the spider form, she turns into a crowd controlling freak, because you can see here on the A1, a chance to place a sleep. No extra book values, guys, so you don't need books once again, and could have some value for the Sand Devil's Necropolis, granted you've got enough heal restoration in your team, as you're reducing the turn meter. Outside of that, we've got an attacking of all enemies, places a stun debuff for 1 turn without the chance again, and also decreases the target's turn meter by 30%. Now, depending where you are in the game, if you don't have the luxury of an AoE stun champion like an Astralon, this can be very, very powerful for players, right? Like, think about the Spider progression, or Doom Tower locking them out, or in the arena to lock out some opponents as well. Just has great universal value and one of the fundamentals all players should have on their accounts. Leading into this A3, an increased accuracy on all allies for 2 turns, then we'll remove all buffs from all enemies, and then we'll place a weaken on them for 2 turns. Now, swiftly thinking about Re and the Conjurer, free Doom Tower Epic that you can obtain from fragments. There's a very similar skill, but this one's like it's on steroids because we get that increased accuracy as well to make sure we can get the job done. So I'm a huge fan of this one. There is other champions that's done this in the past. She just does it to a higher caliber. In terms of the passive, at the start of this champion's turn, will decrease the target's turn meter of the enemy with the highest attack by 15%, once again just adding to that turn meter manipulation. So all around the board, think about this for Dark Fae as well. Turn meter reductions, same here as well. There's just a lot of value to come out of this one, but for Clan Boss in particular, the base form is exactly what you're going to be looking for. So in terms of the gear that I put on this champion today, as we're going into Clan Boss first, I've decided to go with a Guardian build, trying to absorb some damage, and it's something I like to do in my traditional style compositions. We're going to be doing a kind of heavy team today for the showcase, as I want to push the limits to see how much damage she can do with some decent crit rate and crit damage, so we can just take that luring question out of our head if she can deal some good damage here, as a lot of her skills give us some damage stats, so it's worth noting to see, right? We've kind of got like crit damage on, or crit rate on the gauntlets, defense on the chest plate, speed on the boots. We've got accuracy, crit damage, defense as well. And I might change this build after the Clan Boss Spear into maybe perception to make full use of a second skill. But we'll see. I might just keep it like this, as the stats are pretty achievable, I guess, outside of the speed. Like 50,000 HP, 3.5k defense, 256 speed, which is speed tuned. Crit rate, 99%, just to annoy you guys today. I'm joking. I just fell a little bit short. I tried with the glyph. See there? Tried to get the crit rate. Crit damage, 172%, and 269 accuracy, just to make sure we can place our debuffs, or, you know, extend the duration of debuffs as well. Our masteries, we've gone for the offense tree. Going down to the War Master, of course, and then we've gone the defensive tree, trying to get those counterattacks as well to deal some more damage, or place those shield buffs. Now, of course, you could potentially go into the support tree if you want to make full use of Form 2. But in Form 1, this is the one that I'd be looking for, especially for Clan Boss. But any of the two are perfectly fine. Maybe even Eagle Eye if you want to do it just for the arena, right? So this is a team that I've used back in the day. I'd say most notably Godseeker Neri fitted into this team amazing because of the heal element of her kit. The only heals that we've got in this team, we've got no leeches, is going to be the shield of Underpriest Brogni. But it's more about this champion than the team itself. This one kind of just excels her full potential. So I guess let's go straight into this. It's not a quick battle feature, but I have pre-recorded a run so you guys can see it in full if you wish so. Or skip past if you don't want to see the whole thing. So you can see here we're extending those debuffs. Decreased attack is active. After this, I just have to do one little bit of manual face. So here comes the ally attack, right? This is what it looks like. Boom, increased attack, increased crit damage, dealing some nice damage over the course of the battle. We're now going to do some A1 abilities, just to get us into our speed tune cycle. A1s, and then we're going to do a A2 here. And then A1s. And there we go. This is it now. So over the course of the battle, you're going to see that she's going to be cleansing some debuffs from the champion with the highest attack in Lydia the Death Siren. She's also going to be extending all of these debuffs. Let's just say we've got Underpriest Brogni against Magic Affinity, right? And Tarogi the Frog is struggling to keep this up. She's going to be able to extend the value of that to make sure that your run doesn't fall short and you keep your debuffs active. So I'll let you guys enjoy the rest of the run that I recorded on Magic, which kind of optimizes the value of the team. Maybe Spirit does better, can't remember. Been a long time since I've used this team. But for anyone that does want to replicate this style of composition with like a Godseeker or this champion in the future, I'll briefly break it down towards the end of the run as well, before we go into the rest of the areas. So let's get right into it, guys. So there we have it, guys. In that team for the Magic Affinity, we did 24 million here. The thing that we want to see the most is going to be Mikage because she did 15 million damage. But just be aware that this went very, very long, a 33 minutes run, and we did 162 million. So in terms of damage output, it was lackluster, nothing insane here. So you can definitely afford to, ramp up her support stats and a defense and a HP if you're struggling to keep her alive. Lydia, 27 million, 61 million on Brogni, of course, with all of those reflections, and 33 million on Torogi the Frog. So in terms of the presets for this comp, we've got as so. So opener, first priority and second priority. Lady Mikage blocking off the Metamorph and as so here. Lydia, first priority. Underpriest Brogni like this, and then Torogi just like so. We want to lock off that A2. Now, the only manual phase that you need to do is an A1 on Underpriest Brogni and Torogi after Lady Mikage goes on the second turn, and after that it's going to be full auto. But if you guys do want to see an in-depth guide on this team, I'll leave it in the description below, so we're not spending too much time on it today. But just briefly going over the champion stats, as we do want to head straight back into the champion, is going to be Lydia in a Stalwart build, Masteries, a War Master and Defensive tree. Trying to optimize our stats here. Going at 269 speed. Lady Mikage we know already. Underpriest Brogni, we have gone for 255 speed, high attack, high sustainability, crit rate and crit damage, and nice accuracy for our burn debuffs. And Mastery is the same as Lydia. In a Perception build, just going to stats over sets here. Underpriest in a Guardian build, trying to absorb some damage, going the slowest of the bunch at 217 speed. And the Masteries as Defensive Tree and War Master once again. And then Torogi the Frog in Guardian as well, going at 225 speed in Guardian and Immortal gear, with Masteries with the support, as so. So yeah, that was the gear, the stats, and the Masteries very briefly, and let's head straight back into what the focus of today's video is. So Spider's Den, stage 25, right? No books once again. This is a little team that I put together for you guys, although I like to do stage 10 nowadays on the hard mode. And you're going to see here, she's going to metamorph into that stun ability. So we're going to open up with the A1 of our Ignatius here. Boom. We're now going to place us, metamorph into this variation, come through with an AoE stun, and kaboom. Pretty sweet, right? Then the burns come out. She's now going to place more turn meters because we locked off the A3 ability, and we're just utilizing the A1. So we just need a little reset here. Boom. They want to come through. She's going to come through with another stun any second now. And what's really cool is she's actually decreasing turn meter in the same ability. Look at that. Stuns going out. We got burns everywhere. More burns coming out. Let's go, Ignatius. It should be something like a 50-second run. Just depends on the RNG with the burns and things. Usually use a Tyrant Ixlamore because he's got a 3-turn duration on those burns. But 47 seconds, you've seen the true value that she was doing in that team. She's bringing in the crowd control, making sure our champions are not taking damage. And if you're really struggling and doing something like this with other options out there, she can come through, control that spider for you, control those spiderlings, and put in a phenomenal job. Let's just see this one through one more time so we can see it in action. There we go, more turn meter fills. Boom, very nice. I did want to put Tyrant into the team, right? And then I thought, do I really want to reset everything now in terms of gear? I've gone so crazy with the gear changes nowadays. It's nuts. But what do you think so far, guys? Is this a champion that you've really been enjoying? Do you think it's going to have value for your clan boss teams out there? Let me know where you're kind of considering to use this champion. Granted, pretty obtainable to get right. Might take us ages or might be very simple. Who knows? I very wonder if it's going to be new champions or champions that's already in the game. That's something I'm really anxious about. But once again, done a phenomenal job for this team. Hopefully you guys can see that. So we're just going to move swiftly over to the Fire Knight next, just so you guys can see in action and the ways that I've set this up. So in terms of the presets on this one, in terms of poisons and stuff on round 3, we've gone first priority, so we're opening up with the ally attack. And this would be great for players out there that's adventurous in the hard mode as well, if you're seeking an ally attack option. You lead into this metamorph, and then you block this off, and you just stay in this one to control the turn meter once you've cracked it. And I feel that's a very cool synergy if you're trying to participate in the hardest mode of the Fire Knight, right? On the normal mode, granted. So we've got a bit of a Poison Explosion team here. It's nothing like perfect, I would say. But what's really cool is she's playing the role of a buff extender the same way that I'd be doing it with a Corvus the Corruptor or a Dark Chaos, right? I think, but we did get a weak hit there on that final champion, but still completely fine. We're going to reset. We're going to do A1s. Open up with those A1s so we're not extending straight away. Because we are pretty fast, right? Get some more poisons out. We're going to extend those. Beautiful. And now all of those durations are stacked for Elenaro to combust. And boom. So it plays a very good role for those poison explosion teams out there if you're seeking a buff extender with ally attack. We're now going to go through with the ally attack. We're cracking that shield, allowing us to get full control over the boss here. Boom, boom, boom. Get some decreased speed out. Some poisons out as well. And then what we're going to do here is we're going to metamorph, beautiful, into the spider. We now got some increased accuracy for players that can't reach the stat thresholds. And then she's just going to come through the cycle of reducing those turn meters. There we go. Boom. Even though that you can't place a stun on the Fire Knight, you can still drop that turn meter down to your advantage. And if you wanted to, technically you could just go back to the other form again and go with some more ally attacks, right? That'd be a really cool synergy, but it just depends how quickly you can kill the boss and if it's worthwhile for your team. Especially in hard mode, you probably want to keep the upright and keep doing those ally attacks. And you can't drop the turn meter in that boss. You need freeze mechanics. So yeah, you're probably going to focus on base form 1 for the other boss, right? Nearly there. 1 minute 40 seconds or so. Not the fastest team, but you know, hopefully you guys can see the full fundamentals she's bringing to the table in this team. It's crazy how the same build that I used for Clan Boss I've actually carried into here as well. That's pretty nice, right? But she's very flexible in terms of stats you can put on her. Just depends where you're using her, right? But as you see here, nothing crazy in terms of damage, but she really did, you know, blend the whole composition together, get that shield down quickly, and puts all of those extra attacks out. So what we want to do is set presets so she actually metamorphs, because she feels like she doesn't need to. So what we could do is, let's metamorph now. Because this form is very optimal for the Doom Tower, as we've got stuns, we've got increased accuracy. This can really help us reach those stat thresholds. So let's go for a stun. Boom. Look at that, guys. Beautiful. And now none of those champions can take a turn. Allow us to come through, do all of this stuff here. Boom. And then if you're struggling to reach those accuracies, you can come through with that other ability as well. So now we could do like increased accuracy. Boom. And this will allow us to place all of the debuffs that we want over the course of the battle. So very versatile, right? You can even go back to the base form again, do some ally attacks. And it could be very good for waves as well, right? Like, do you know when you got the boss on the last stage and you might want increased accuracy at the ends? You can kind of do waves for the first two. You go through and metamorph into that one for the ally attacks as well. So pretty decent for Doom Tower. Hopefully you guys can see the value that she could bring to players out there. So next up, we're here in the Faction Wars, and look at this. Imagine all the glyphs we can get on a daily basis if it was like this every day. It's the test server. But alright, Lady Mikage, of course, is going to be bringing in random Shadowkins from the Faction Wars, and once again, she does not like to metamorph by herself, so setting presets is key, from what I've noticed, because if you can come through with those stun abilities, that's going to lock off the potential of your champions dying if you're trying to freestar, right? Depending when you watch this video. So, decrease defense. We can now metamorph into this form here. Come through with an AoE stun. Look at that. Beautiful. Now, let's see if she wants to go back to the other form. That'll be interesting, right? If she does that by herself. We've got our buddy Genzin in here, of course. There's some weakens. Nice. Amplify our damage by 25%. Take out the Broadmoor. There we go. Nice. That was a sleep. Pretty decent. So on this form here, so she should be going with the stun now. We've got some stuns from Riho Bone Spear as well. Pretty decent. Boom. Stuns going out. And now that Man-Eater, what can't he do? He can't place the unkillable buff. So it just speeds up our process for us. And I would definitely be implementing her into this team if I had her on my account, right? But let's see how quick it is to get her. I swear, if I can get her on one day, that'd be nice. And then I'll be using her every day for fun. So let's get a decreased defense on. Get some debuffs out. Which boss is this? Oh, it's the removal debuffs one. Okay, so let's metamorph into this one. Come for the ally attack. Boom. Nice. Look at all of that damage. Crazy. Because it's an all-team ally attack. There we go. Cleanse that off. Extend some debuff durations. Decrease defense. Decrease attack. Hex debuffs. Damage. Can we get another ally attack in? Or can we metamorph back? Can we metamorph back? Come on. Please have it ready. I don't know if she has it ready yet. No, Yumiko. We want to go back. Ah, Mission Aki for the win. But there we go. Decent damage, 247. Outperform Riho Bone Spear, of course, with those AoEs. But just make sure that you've got your presets so she's metamorphing. So last but not least, before we do that, I do want to kind of rebuild her into a different build so you guys can get some different eyes on it. I'm going to go for like a more perception, arena orientation, and see how well she performs. Let's get right into it. So alright then, we managed to re-gear her a little bit into a full perception build, more orientated around these abilities here, so stunning in arena, turn meter reductions, and increased accuracy and weakens, and, you know, putting champions to sleep. And then of course, if you want to use a blender composition, you could just be going in with this with a fast team, with those AoE champions and taking them to the ground, but I feel like the second form is a lot better for those focuses. We're going to go through the lockout. We got no buffs on this one. So we can still see the stuns though. We'll try a different team afterwards. So we can come through with this ability here. Increase accuracy. Replace the weaken. Now we're going to do some damage here. Let's take out the Duchess, but we put him to sleep. Bad! Alright, let's put some Hex on here. And then now, what are we going to do here? We can come through with an AoE stun. That could be nice. Nice, look at that, lock them all out apart from the Mithrala Life Bin. We must be in some high sustainability in terms of resistance. We've now got some damage going out. Alright, can we please sleep now and just permanently lock out that Duchess? It's going to keep going to UDK, so we do need to take him out. So stun or sleep, there we go, nice. We woke him up. Go back to sleep. Oh, we didn't stun him. We didn't stun him. We didn't have enough accuracy. We need that increased accuracy back. Maybe I should have booked her for this one so we got the cooldowns. So here we can go like this. Metamorph into this one. Ally attack. Hey, nice. It's just fun, right? Like, I'm not sure how optimal it's going to be, but just being able to play with this is pretty cool, man. Let's get some more increased attacks on. We kill her? Nice. There we go. Managed to come through. We had a bit of control and put in a great job. Metamorph. Into the stuns. Nice, we stunned everybody. Get some protection on ourselves. I'm not sure how much damage we've actually got in this arena. Boom. Some nice damage there. And now we can just go with a... We could just go with a weaken, I guess. Slow down the rotors a little bit. We can go with a triple here in a second. Got some nice protection coming out from this Ursaga, but we're going to take down the rotors for now. Boom, boom, boom. More damage. Oh, I really wanted to metamorph for the last one, but there's the sleep debuff. Sleeping the Siphi. How many times have you been slept by Siphi? Now we can sleep one. Amazing. Oh, she slept us back. Can we get one more metamorph? Oh, please, don't kill her. There we go. Metamorph. Into the ally attack. There we go. Nice little finish there. Amazing. So yeah, guys, that was a bit of fun today. Quite an intensive video, right? We did Clan Boss, we did Faction Wars, Arena, you name it, we probably covered most of the bases. But let me know if there's any other areas that you feel she's definitely shines in and how excited you are in order to get this champion. We have to remember that it is a permanent fusion, so if all players have access to it, it can't be super overpowered, but also good enough for players to really want. And I feel like the skills here are actually pretty decent without needing the books, right? You don't need books here unless you want to ignore resistance. We only need one book here for the 4 turns, but you can still enable the skill without it. Sleep chances, 100%, stun chances, 100%, and just a nice amount of fundamentals in here for me to enjoy. So yeah, I'll catch you guys on a video soon. Have an amazing rest of your day, and peace.